Have you ever felt that your brain is working against you? You sit down to get something important done, but you find yourself scrolling, binge watching TV, being distracted by things, doing everything else other than what you should be doing. It's almost like your mind has a mind of its own. But what if I told you that there is a reason for this? In this video, we are going to be uncovering the truth that your brain might actually be sabotaging your success and what you can do to stop it. You see, procrastination happens when your brain is actually battling itself. On the one hand, there is the limbic system. This is the part of your brain that is all about instant gratification and pleasure. On the other hand, you have the prefrontal cortex. This is the more evolved part of your brain that helps you plan and stay focused. When you come across something that you don't really want to do, then these two regions of the brain begin to clash. If the limbic system wins, then you put off the task because it wants to avoid anything unpleasant. This does give you temporary relief, but at the price of not doing what needs to be done. Now you might think, why on earth do you even have a limbic system in the first place? The thing is, the limbic system is one of the oldest and the most powerful regions of your brain. It's like your brain's automatic survival tool. Imagine touching something hot. It's your limbic system that makes you instantly pull back without even thinking about it. It's designed to protect you by making quick decisions to keep you safe. Because when you touch something really hot, you don't actually debate or ask yourself, what is the core temperature of this object? None of that. You instantly pull your hand back. But here's the catch. This system does not just respond to danger. It actually responds to things that you also find unpleasant, like a boring or a difficult task. Your limbic system's job is to help you avoid discomfort, so it pushes you to do something to feel better in that moment. And this often comes at the expense of delaying the original task. Your prefrontal cortex, on the other hand, is your brain's control center. This is the part of the brain that really sets us apart from animals. You as a human can actually think ahead and make decisions rather than just react to your circumstances. There is just one problem though. Your limbic system comes into play automatically. It needs no invitation. It just gets kicked into gear as soon as you receive the right stimulus. However, that is not the case with the prefrontal cortex. Your prefrontal cortex needs a little bit of a push from you in order to get working. You have to consciously activate it. You have to decide that, okay, I am now going to focus on this thing. But the moment you lose this focus, this drive, your limbic system can come into play and make you do something that is quite fun just for the moment. I'm going to now share with you a few effective protocols that are going to help your prefrontal cortex win this battle against your limbic system. The first thing that I would recommend is cutting out all forms of instant pleasure from your life. Things like fast food, social media, pornography, video games. All these sources of favor your monkey brain, that is your limbic system. I realize that once I use these things, I'm almost guaranteed to procrastinate any sort of productive task. Because when you're the type of person that is just used to all this instant pleasure without doing any work to achieve it, then it's very hard for you to sit down, try to focus, and work hard towards something. Your limbic system now takes you down a rabbit hole where you're just addicted to instant pleasure, and this could really turn into a vicious cycle. When you consume more instant pleasure, you feel like procrastinating, and when you procrastinate and don't do anything, then you feel like consuming even more instant pleasure to fill that void. The way that I broke the cycle was that I stopped consuming instant gratification, and I actually allowed myself to start feeling bored. And when you're bored enough, you start doing productive things. When you don't have these crazy instant sources of pleasure, then the normal day-to-day productive tasks appear to be far more fun, and you actually begin to look forward to doing them. I realized that the most fun thing in my life needed to be the productive work that I do. But if there was a source of pleasure that was more stimulating than my work, then I would naturally leave the productive work behind and gravitate towards that fun thing. So the key is to eliminate all such sources. Make your job, make your work, make your reading habit the most interesting thing that you do in your day. Here's a bit of an action step. Make a list of all the habits that you think currently provide you with this instant pleasure. Note them down, and for the next 30 days, try your hardest to minimize all these behaviors. I'm not going to lie, the first 2 or 3 weeks of going through this might be a bit rough because your brain is designed to crave things that give it pleasure. Additionally, you might not be used to doing the hard work, not used to engaging your prefrontal cortex. So it's going to require you some time to get efficient at being productive. But over time, like by week 3 or by week 4, you are going to realize that you are much more in control of your emotions and impulses. You're going to have a much easier time saying no to all that instant gratification, and you're going to have a much easier time doing the hard work. But make sure that when you're first starting out, you do not make these productive behaviors too hard to perform. If you have been a serial procrastinator for most of your life, then don't just attempt to do a 4-hour long study session tomorrow, because your limbic system is going to perceive this as a serious threat and you are going to skip that task altogether if it's too difficult. And I say this from personal experience. I remember that one day I thought, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m., study for 4 hours, then hit the gym for 2 hours, come back and finish reading 3 chapters of a book. But guess what happened? I did wake up at 4 a.m. But then all I did was just play video games all day, because this extensive to-do list that I created seemed to be such a mountain. It literally caused me stress and anxiety, and I was like, no, I'm not dealing with this shit. Limbic system took over and it rescued me from all this stress and discomfort. So remember to start small, and then you're gradually going to increase the difficulty once you get more comfortable navigating between your limbic system and the prefrontal cortex. One other thing that I noticed was that the more I delayed a task from the beginning of the day, the harder it got to actually perform the task, and the more I procrastinated it. Because as you live through the day, you accumulate more stressors, more phone calls, more meetings, more appointments, and all these activities cause a lot of wear and tear on you. Due to this, I find it incredibly hard to be productive later on in the day, because you have all this baggage of stressors and wear and tear already inside of you. So what I did to combat this was that as soon as I wake up, I used to do the most important, cognitively demanding task that I had for the day. That was the first thing that I attempted. Some days I did it even before I washed my face or brushed my teeth. That major piece of task, I had to get it done before any sort of stressor hits me and distracted me and made it much harder to be productive. And this task could be anything that is intellectually challenging. Maybe learning to code, studying for an exam, or creating a YouTube video. Whatever it is, the beginning of the day is when you have the most cognitive resources, when you have the most willpower. Nothing else occupies your mind, you're a clean slate. But as you move through the day, you lose these attributes. More things fill up your mind, there's more wear and tear, there are more stressors. Your prefrontal cortex basically weakens as the day progresses, and your limbic system begins to take over. So make sure that you try to do all your productive tasks at the beginning of the day as opposed to at the end. This video might have motivated you, but the truth is motivation is a limited resource and it is bound to run out. So make sure that you watch this video to learn about systems that are actually long lasting.